we also have a special guest tonight, Hari.
Hello there.
How are you, Hari?
Oh, I'm very well. No, I was going to say very well.
That's right.
No, I'm just getting over the lurgy.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah. So, well, it's good for you to come in here, and tonight you're going to share some of your experiences and knowledge in a certain area.
Sure, whatever you like. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because I mean, you are a man of many talents and knowledge. So, I don't know where we'd start, really.
Well, I've been lucky enough to have lots of different experiences. So
Yeah.
we can share
Fantastic.
some of those,
All right. Okay. So.
I brought some music along as well, a few tracks, long in the distance past.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, looking forward to that. So that's your own music.
Yeah. Back in England.
Ah, there you go. All these secret musicians coming out of the woodwork. Like, it just, you don't know people's talents.
No, you don't know.
Yeah. So, Paul, do you have any questions for Hari?
Not at the moment, but we'll get his song. He's actually got a USB there with all of his music.
And tonight we have special guest Hari, and Hari is a musician, and you're in a band.
Well, I'm a drummer, so a lot of people would say you can be a drummer or you can be a musician.
Phil Collins. Oh, I said he's Phil Collins.
The same domain.
Phil Collins. I mean, isn't he the most famous drummer?
Well,
Drummer singer.
If he might be the most famous to you, but he is a very famous drummer. Yeah. And singing and drumming too. That's an incredible talent. Really.
Yeah, the Eagles do that too. It's
very, very hard.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah.
It's like driving and singing, really, because a manual car and driving and singing at the same time as a drummer.
Never thought of it like that.
I'm a drummer too, so I know what it's like. You got to coordinate 4 things at once.
Yeah, interesting.
Apart from flatulating at the same time. That's the 5th thing, but...
Well, some people are better at certain aspects than others, aren't they? Practice makes perfect.
So that song that just came back, so just to promote myself there, paratee, that's Things Worthwhile Take Time. Actually, Hari was in the video. He's actually at the start of the video. That great shot as he's doing a move across, looking at the Jamison Valley up in the Blue Mountains, and doing your particular martial art, which is called
Haidong Gumdo.
Which is?
It's a Korean sword art. So the easiest way to describe it is it's like a Korean version of samurai. So you use a wooden sword when you start training, and then you can move on to a metal sword after you've been training for a certain period of time. And no, it's really good. I really enjoy it. It's great.
No, it is good. I was grateful that himself and Master Rodney came along and assisted with that video.
I'm very lucky. We've got some really good masters in the western suburbs, Sydney, in the Blue Mountains. Master Rodney is a really lovely guy, very gentle, and he's really good at what he does. So he's a very capable martial artist.
So how do you become to be called a master, as in Master Rodney, Master
Hari?
What level do you need to reach? Are you a master now?
Me? No. I'm way down the scale.
You're a mister.
Yes, that's right. I feel like that's right. Yeah, just like anything in the martial arts, you start off at a low grade as a beginner, and you progress, and they have typically there's a belt system or sash system as you progress through your skills, as you develop your skills, and then you get to black, and after you get to black there's the grade system continues, usually in a slightly different way, and then after a few years you get your next grade of black, and then the next grade of black, and next grade of black, and in Haidong Gumdo, when you have reached a certain level, I think you're entitled to call yourself a master. Now, whether that involves opening your own school or running typically you have to be an instructor. I'm now an instructor in Haidong Gumdo, but a very new one. I've only just finished training as an instructor, but someone like Master Rodney's been training it for 10, 12 years, 14 years.
So back to what you're just saying. So someone doesn't walk up and say, once you've done your training, Hari, you are now a master. You said you appointed yourself as a master. How did I missed what you said? Misunderstood.
Well, because you're embedded as part of the system. So in the Haidong, each martial art has its own system of progression, and I don't really know a complete answer to what designates someone as a master and as not. But typically they've been in the system for many years, and they have achieved a certain downgrading, in other words, a certain level of black belt grading and competency and duration of training. Now, I assume they would have also had to have been an instructor for most of that time as well, but maybe that's not necessary, I don't know.
Okay.
Because you can progress without actually teaching others. But when you get into the very high grades, then they also incorporate your moral responsibility. So, for instance, the owner of the club, Master Andrew Johnston, he is also a musician as well, actually, very accomplished musician. And he's been in Nashville, and he's done a lot of, very high quality stuff. And he has he's engaged in some social responsible activities as well. So when you get to those very, very high grades, you'll see across many martial arts that there's a sort of turns they get involved in foundations or children's hospices or something like that.
Community radio.
Exactly. To put back to show that sort of humane aspect, so that the martial arts is that spiritual responsibility of development, it's personal development, but also you're setting a community-wide human.
Well, let's take you back to where you were before. Sorry, that was a bit of a diversion from tonight. So back to yourself as a drummer, and how did you start? When did you start playing drums, Harry? When did you?
Yeah, I was just 12, I think. I was not quite 13, and my brother, who's a little bit older than me, he wanted a drummer. He was starting a band at school, and he was a guitarist, and they had a singer, and they had a bassist, but they didn't have a drummer. And I thought, I'll get to sit down, I'll learn the drums. I'm too active. And
there's a lot now. You're sitting down. I get it now. So right. Drummers are lazy. Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh yeah. That's right. It doesn't work out that way, though. But so I went to have some drum lessons and started playing on cardboard boxes with cricket stumps, wickets, and bought a kit and did that, and had a lot of fun, made a lot of noise.
So your first gig, where did you?
I was 14. I had my first gig actually, and that's back in England, in a little place called Bishampton Village Hall. And it was pretty packed actually. There's lots of school friends and things came, and we were playing Black Sabbath, a bit of sure if we did Led Zeppelin, but we did a lot of heavy rock. We had a very talented keyboard player actually too, Sean. He's no longer with us, but he was a great songwriter, and he was like the talented musician. He was the musician. The rest of us were just bumbling along. Okay. But he was really good. So we had a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Well, let's get into some of that music. So we'll start with the song "Miracle Worker." We want to talk about that when we come back after we play?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So if you're going to play the first one, it's an instrumental, and you turn the volume up to 11 on this one. It's slightly different genre than some of the other stuff numbers we got.
Okay, well, let's get into it. This is Miracle Worker. Well, at the start, so is it the album that's called Miracle Worker?
Well, the album, there's no album actually. Yeah. We did actually make 2 singles though. I was in plastic. Remember those 7-inch things that?
Well, they're coming back.
People are they?
Well, I mean plastic, like as in LPs and records are coming back big time. They're going to start producing them, by the millions again.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
So how many did you make when you? Sorry, Paul.
Well, about 14 copies we sold.
But how many did you have to produce?
But lots of 1,000. I forget now. We had the first one. It was, in fact, we were so up ourselves. We couldn't have a B-side. It had to be double A.
Oh, goodness gracious!
Yeah, exactly. So
but you were young then.
Yeah, exactly. We were young and foolish. But there was a second single. I'm sure there's a second single we did. But anyway,
I'm just saying. I really enjoyed that song. I thought it was very great. Funky and the unusual voice.
He has got an unusual voice. That's Clive.
Yeah.
Clive, it was 4 of us in the band, and then we became a 3-piece. In other words, the bassist left, and the keyboard player Johnny did the keyboards and bass on keyboards, and Clive sang and played guitar, and I did drums. So it was and the 3-piece worked really well actually. Yeah.
Sometimes in bands, less people is easy to work with. I mean,
Well, you know, Simon was good on bass. He was a bit of a heavy guy. He was a bit of a heavy, but he improved a lot on the bass. He got quite good. And the other two, Johnny and Clive, they were, you know, school friends basically, and they were the creative writers, the songwriters. So looking at all the ones we got here are written by the two of them.
so this is not the first band that you were just talking about with your brother. This is another.
No, that's correct. Yeah.
So
this
when did this band sort of happen?
This happened when I was about 21. I was actually going to come overseas, and then I just left another band I was in actually, and I thought, I'll go travelling, and then somehow I came across these guys, and we hit it off. So okay, well, I'll put off the travel until later. That's when I came out to Australia. But yeah, so in a couple of years of playing.
Well, I mean, English have that's your background. They have a tradition of, you know, being brilliant musicians and in pop music and rock. There, you know, there's a lot of very, very famous bands, and they usually start a lot of trends.
Well,
Beatles.
yeah, that's true. I mean, and they were these two guys. They were right into a lot of, you know, they had a different background to me, and they were very intelligent, and they were musicians, and they were songwriters, and knew what chords were, and you know, all these crazy things. So, the previous band I've been in was with a very technical guy, so I had to really improve my drumming when I was with him. You know, do different timing, and you know, I was only 16. I was quite young when I really had to step up to the drumming for that. So that was a good training ground, I guess. Let loose a bit more with these guys.
Yeah, it's interesting talking about stepping up. Usually, in different scenarios as well. If you with people that are at like a high level, then you normally have to step up, and that can actually force you to step up and to improve what you're doing. So if you just hang around, the same level all the time, you never really step up.
Yeah.
Or it would be in martial arts as well, I imagine.
Yeah, that's true. You've got to be challenged. You've got to be challenged to do things as you go. Yeah, that's right.
All right, so there's another song, Miracles. Is that the one we were going to play before? It's a bit of a rocky one.
It is. So turn the volume right up. And
Okay.
I really like this one. This is instrumental, but a lot of people like this one.
Okay. Let's get into it. Miracles by the band Miracle Worker, and we have one of the ex-members, Harry, in the studio.
Thank you.
Interesting song again, Harry. I quite enjoyed that. Bit of a rock. Still finishing off there.
Yeah, it's about to go into we used to, when we played it live, it used to roll into a new song on this recording, so you can just kill it there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
Fantastic. So what ended up, that band, did it go any further, or?
Well, actually, so what happened was to get a recording contract. Of course, we always thought we were going to be, the next superstars, as you do. That's what keeps you going. And so we did a couple of gigs in London, and we did some in Birmingham. We were small country Worcestershire people, really. And then there was a big, NME was the big musical magazine at that time, the Music Express. And there was a new one called International Making Music, I think it was. And they reviewed bands. And so I went up to London on a motorbike, and actually only went up to buy a book on where the A&R men offices were. The A&R man are the stands for it's the person you go to see to try and convince that you're the next hot thing. Okay, and so they created basically a catalogue of who to go and see. Anyway, so I was in the office talking to these people, and they said, "Oh, why don't you leave us some of your music to review?" I said, "All right." Then. So I left them a tape, and they gave us a 5-star review. And then this is at a Christmas time, because I remember on Boxing Day I got a call from the A&R man from which record company was it? I forget now. So I had 2 or 3 record companies like phoning me at Christmas.
Wow.
It's
a nice Christmas gift.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it was great. And so I said, okay, let's get back to these guys really quickly. And Johnny was the artiste in the band, as in a visual artist. So he said, we got to put all this other visual stuff together, rah. But it took a bit too long to do it, really. And so we didn't really strike while the iron was hot. And some of the other A&R men I did get to see said, well, you know what, house music's the thing. House music that's the new buzz. You got to turn house. And hey, I was the drummer. So house music is hit the button and let it play. And so that didn't sit well with me. So I said, no, forget it, and came to Australia. But after I left, they did sell one of their songs to you know what was that band that did Walk Like an Egyptian?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
The Bangles was it?
Bangles, was it? Yeah. Anyway, so one of our songs they did.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know which one it is?
I don't know. I'd have to hear it. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
All right. So
I was just going to ask how you came for the name The Miracle Worker. What sort of
back
conjured
in
that
the
up?
back in the 70s, there was a band called Alex Haley. What's his name? Alex. Anyway, he had a band called one of his albums was Faith Healer, and Clive and Johnny came up with the rework. Well, we did, I guess, Miracle Worker. Was a rework of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we all liked Miracle Worker as a thing.
Yeah. So, what song would you like to play now? Feel the Same.
Oh yeah,
Back
Feel the
to-
Same. That's a groovy one too. If you want to get changed from the heavy to the groove.
Who's your voice, Harry? I quite like it.
Yeah, Clive. He did have a great voice, didn't he? He was very self-conscious about his voice, though. I liked his voice. A lot of people didn't, and
When you say a lot of people, is this audience didn't like it,
the
or
audience, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some people said, look, you know, great vibe, love dancing to it and stuff, but can't stand his voice, you know.
Oh, that's
so
a
he
shame.
did get a bit self-conscious, and I remember there was one gig we were doing in a pub in Worcester, and so we were all backstage. Yeah, okay, good. So we walk up, turn around. Where's he gone? We get off stage, get him again. Turn around, he just had the jitters, you know. He just felt all the anxiety and the angst about going on stage.
because of his voice, or just
Well,
in general?
You're the front man as well.
Yeah,
you see.
okay.
The front man, you're the one there that if you get in front of the microphone, you're the one everyone turns to. And of course, as a drummer, you can hide, you can fiddle around, pick your sticks up, do whatever you want to if you're feeling a bit shaky.
Do your knitting at the back.
Do your knitting, yeah, exactly, yeah. Do all that kind of stuff, scratch yourself. Yeah,
We got the sticks for it, you know.
Yeah.
that's right.
If you get bored.
But you know, they were at the same time they were actually very pretentious too, Johnny and Clive. So there's this desire to expand and be little show peacocks, you know. But you know, he did feel that pressure on himself as well.
So was there a competition between those two to be the peacock?
A little bit, yeah.
If you think about some of the best bands around, the lead people are real show people, like the Freddie Mercurys of the world. You know what I mean? Like they're showmen, and I think that's a big part of being successful as well. Having Michael Hutchins, Freddie Mercury, someone that is a show person, and it's just that's what they do. You know. You can be
desire to be creative and enjoy the vibe, and you're in a band. It's very, very intense relationship. It's such an intense relationship, and you know, to want to go out and have a shared vision. And then that's the beauty of youth. When you're young, you've got the drive. You know, you don't have so many things tying you down. You can afford to get up there and get on the road. I mean, Clive also did. He was the one with a steady job, and he was actually a hairdresser. And so he had his own practice, basically, he had his own thing. So while we were saying, come on, let's go and just get on the road, he'd have more to lose.
Right.
Because he'd had stuff, so that's also fed his anxiety a bit thing too. Yeah.
So how long was the Miracle Worker band together?
Oh, it was probably a year and a half, 2 years. Oh, I should tell you about the very first gig with Miracle Worker we did. So we all together, we knew a lot of people. So the very first gig we did was this pub called the Albion in Worcester, and it's got a limit of 600 people, and we packed it. And we were experimenting with oil wheels, coloured wheels, you know, from the 60s.
Yeah.
So we had this one tiny orange coloured wheel, and a friend of mine, his brother was in the entertainment business, and so I got these smoke bombs, and I've got these 7-second smoke bombs, these little tiny round ones, and 30-second smoke bombs. And me and a friend, we'd made a detonator for them. Now we'd never What we didn't do, however, was test it out. We tested the dead end. We hadn't tested the smoke out. So we're in this gig, and with this oil wheel. Oil wheels are fantastic.
So what's an oil wheel? I'm not too sure.
Oh, okay. So an oil wheel is basically you have an electric lamp, and it has a lens that projects a light.
Oh, okay.
And you have a motor, and on the motor is a thin plastic frame with oil in it.
Yeah, I think I've
as the
seen
lamp heats up, the oil heats up, and the motor turns it, and the light projects through the oil, so you get this hippie trippy coloured oil.
And that's
things.
behind the band while they're
You
playing.
can project it everywhere, sideways on the band, wherever.
Okay.
And if you project it through smoke, of course, then the smoke acts as a medium for the rays, and it's even more hippie trippy. Now, we did go on to have actually a fantastic light show, which we cannot talk about later or not, but anyway, at this one gig, so we're there when it was absolutely packed, and I remember we were doing Hendrix along the Watchtower, and we let off the smoke. We let off the 30-second one, which, as we found out later, is the outdoor smoke bomb. And we're playing, and I'm playing, and I could not see my hands in front of my face. And there's people drinking. And Tommy let us know, I'm drinking. I couldn't see my beer. And then people were walking in. They said, "Look, there's smoke pouring out of the windows of this pub." Oh, the hell! The fire brigade did get called. I don't know, but so that was a great night. That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh, it's hilarious. Well, we've got another song, Back to Never Say. Can we play that? Harry from the Miracle Workers.
Well, no, the Miracle Worker. Just Miracle Worker.
Miracle Worker.
Yes.
So what miracle are you planning on doing tonight?
Oh, there's no water. I'm not going to walk on water.
Can you turn water into wine for us after the show?
That's something I could work on.
Okay. All right. So, Paul, do you have another question for Harry?
You did some videos with your band at all?
We got a couple of videos, actually. They are on video, on old vinyl video, video cassette, actually. I haven't seen them. They're not very good, but we did have this. We had this brilliant light show. So we evolved from this little small oil wheel to these big, modern, sophisticated projectors called OptiKinetics. And not only can you have one straight lens on there, you can have lenses with prisms on them that rotate on a motor and they flip, and you can have two oil wheels one going this way, one that way, all different patterns. They're just incredible. We had it's fantastic light shows. When you use smoke as well, it's really effective.
So this was you, the light show person?
We had a couple of friends who did rotors, so they did the lights.
Okay.
But yeah, I was the one in charge of. The drummer gets to drive the truck. the drummer gets to buy all the extension leads, the amplifier, the keyboards, and yes, all the lights as well. So, yeah.
Well, that's a big art form in itself, lighting. For video, for shows, for anything,
Yeah, unfortunately, the videos don't do justice to what we had actually as a light show. But we did two videos. We did this one video with this guy, and we spent all day. We hired a college of Worcester Technical College, which is like a TAFE college here, and this big stage. Everything was just us. Hard it, played. All right, yeah, great. Oh, this is gonna be really good. Yeah. And the guy couldn't sync the sound to the music, the sound and video together. So I had to do it all over again. Yeah.
That's annoying.
Actually, the very first video we did was, very, very low budget. And what we did on it, we put subliminal images in.
For what reason?
Inserted subliminal images saying, sexy, money, and gonna be stars, or not something quite as blatant. So it would flash up, but you could just still see them. Yes, we had a sense of humour. Yeah,
It's good to have, isn't it?
So did you make a lot of money out of this being on the road? I mean, just for people out there who, think to being, famous overnight.
It's this thing I used to have this old Bedford truck to carry my gear in. First, before that, it was my stepdad's horse truck with straw. I had to sweep out those horse shit and the straw to one side before we put my drums in it. And then I bought my own truck and then the lights. And no, you don't make money.
So, for people out there who want to be, make a living out of it, it's really more for love as a muso.
That's what you do it for. Yeah.
Yeah, it's for love, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So, look, can you believe it? There's only about
8 minutes left.
8 minutes left.
Okay.
6 minutes of the show. We got one of your songs playing in the background. Back to Nagasaki, because I've seen that's quite a long song. About 7 minutes.
Quite a long song. Yeah. This is quite a different sound to the other ones too. You may not want to listen to all of it. A good one to end on would have actually been the end one, just because it's
which one?
It's different vibe. Can't Go On. That's what I've called it, the 8 one. But this one's very atmospheric, and it did have a coda to it, so it goes very quiet, and it's got all this nuclear wind kind of stuff to it. But this other song, which I've just suggested instead, is again a bit more upbeat.
And, so back with the nuclear wind and that type of thing. Back in those days, how did you get that effect? So
keyboards, synthesizer. Yeah.
So it was about the time when synthesizers sort of
coming in. That's right. Yeah. There was.
So what years are we talking about here, Harry? Just for the people listening.
We're talking 80, about 86, 87, 88, that kind of time. Yeah, because I came out here in 89.
So Harry, you also are a shiatsu practitioner.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and very good one as well. And you've done a little bit of work with me and I think with Paul. So if anyone wanted to get some shiatsu done, you're up in the Blue Mountains way.
I should promote my business. What
You
a grand
should.
idea.
Yeah.
Exceptionally
Yeah.
good idea.
So go away.
Exceptional Shiatsu.
Okay.
Yes.
So Harry, what is shiatsu for people listening out there that never heard of shiatsu?
So shiatsu is a Japanese massage, Japanese therapy. It's based on the meridian lines. So the Chinese medicine have obviously for many years we've all heard of acupuncture points. Acupuncture points lie on energetic lines which animate us as human beings. It gives us our thoughts, our feelings, our hunger, our thirst, our emotions. And in shiatsu what we're trying to do is we're trying to aid the metabolism for the body, and we do that. Metabolism, I mean, as a general term, being change, the process of change. So in other words, as human beings, we're adaptive creatures, and when we fail to adapt is often when we get sick. And so with shiatsu we use pressure and stretching to improve the chi flow, or the energy flow, if you like, more generally, and then symptoms may.
There was a saying that you said to me that shiatsu's helping you make you feel to feel better.
Exactly. So look, one of the things I strongly believe is that we'll become desensitized to our world around us. It's very easy to see with all the screens we have around us, electronica. But so yes, one of the little catchphrases is want you to feel better, to make you feel better as well. In other words, to improve your sensitivity so that your body can then naturally learn to adapt to its given environment. Therefore, it acts as a preventative. So the body is the best healer. As you know, when you get sick, you get cold, and I've got the lurgy net. It's the body's natural defences which are really just taking over and healing from the inside. So we really want to aid the body's natural processes to do their work.
Absolutely. Great. So would they Google?
Yeah, I've got a website, exceptionalshiatsu.com. And it's in a process of being improved.
Okay.
And so hopefully it's live now, of course. It's been live for many years, but I'll put a better version, new improved version up, make it live soon as well. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say, actually, Harry did shiatsu on me. Actually, I remember he was working on me. I had a lot of pain for months. I ended up in hospital.
Yeah, that's such
no,
good...
no, but I was just amazed what I had. I'll just let people know I had some stent operation.
That wasn't after the shiatsu.
Oh, no, because there were some things that happened that Harry did. I mean, I felt the pain relief in a certain area that I had, but it came back again. But I actually ended up in hospital with stent operation. It was amazing that Harry actually picked on the point that it was actually an issue there. So as a person who's never heard of shiatsu or ever had shiatsu, Harry actually, when he worked on me, I felt the pain actually disappear, and he actually said he felt the pain where it came from. It was actually amazing. When unfortunately I had to go into hospital and had blocked arteries. Unfortunately, I don't know if shiatsu can actually go in there and clean the arteries out. But
well, it's good you got the treatment you needed.
Yeah,
that's the bottom line. You do what you need to do. But just to clarify, your shiatsu can be painful. I don't work like that generally. It's a range from being very subtle, almost actually off the body, to being it's really quite painful. So it depends on what the person needs at the time to get the best outcome in there.
But for me, it wasn't painful. It just was interesting where I had pain. It's sort of like it was like a vacuum cleaner at that moment. It sort of was like sucked out of me.
Right. Okay.
And I remember you mentioning how you sensed it as well. But anyway, I highly recommend Harry as well.
Yeah.
Apart from his drumming and also his shiatsu.
Well, thank you both for having me along tonight.
Yeah, no,
It's been fun.
it's been great having you, Harry, and maybe we can get you back in the future.
Sure.
We can talk more about the shiatsu.
Okay.
And Paul, where can they find your music and the video that Harry was in, which shows the martial art that you were talking about before?
Yeah, Paratee Creations on Facebook, and
Okay.
I've also got my own Paratee, which is my own, which I'm really just doing, putting my own videos on there away from my business.
And that's all these things work while take time.
Yes, it's a setback, but be glad you came your way. It's there to show the world you are prepared to fight for your cause.